against 8th, Manchester City against Borussia Dortmund, and all of those clubs want to finish in the top 8 to go straight through to the round of 16. So both sides unbeaten in the competition this season. It is Manchester City against Borussia Dortmund. You are with us on 5 Live. There is the whistle from the highly experienced referee, the Polish official Szymon Marciniak, and the game begins. And already Borussia Dortmund on the attack, but Manchester City deal with it, and Matheus Nunes plays it away. Savinho gets his first touch of the match. If you weren't listening earlier, Pep Guardiola's made 3 changes from the team that started in the Premier League here against Bournemouth on Sunday. You might have been listening to our commentary on that. And Erling Haaland is the captain. Led the team out against his former club. Not the first time. He did captain Manchester City last season against Newcastle in the Premier League here in February, but captaining tonight, and indeed did all of the talking yesterday. So Pep Guardiola probably, and I'm sure he did, know that he was going to make him captain for this match. He has Adeyemi on the right-hand side for Borussia Dortmund, goes back towards the halfway line. So Manchester City, Michael Brown have Donnarumma in goal, Matheus Nunes, Stones, Gvardiol and O'Reilly. Rest of the lineup coming as Borussia Dortmund are on the attack with Mecha, who's against his former club. Then it goes back to the captain, Schlotterbeck, who's had a couple of injury issues this season. Now out to the left-hand side to Maximilian Bayer. Right-footed ball into the Manchester City area is cleared away by Gvardiol. So the rest of the Manchester City team, Gonzalez in midfield, Foden, Reinders either side of him and further forward. Then Savinho down here on the right, Doku on the left, and Haaland up front. So, Michael, 3 changes. So Shirky, Bernardo Silva and Diaz on the substitutes bench. And also, and I don't think we've got a reason for this yet, no Rodri at all. Rodri not involved, not on the bench.
Well, obviously not fit enough yet to start, but we're just looking at this Dortmund side. Kelly asked me just before what they can expect from them. I've never seen a team come with confidence like this, so quickly starting, moving City around. Great awareness, great ability, just bopping City straight away at the start of this game, been really promising from them. But yeah, no Rodri, big shock, obviously not able to be involved. Opportunities for others. I thought Bernardo Silva would be key towards the weekend. I felt like he would be one to sit out.
Long pass from Schlotterbeck. Adeyemi makes the run. There's no flag yet from the Polish official, and in the end, after the challenge came in from O'Reilly, it bounced off Adeyemi, although he glares at the assistant on the far side, but he points his flag and says goal kick. And the Dortmund side, Kobel in goal, one of the better goalkeepers I think around, Gregor Kobel. He's not usually involved in the discussions when people talk, as we were last night, about who is the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment, but he's certainly one of the better ones. So Kobel in goal, Anton, Schlotterbeck and Ben Sebaini, the 3 central defenders. Then Ryerson on the right, one of Haaland's Norwegian teammates. Mecha, Felix Mecha, that is, brother of Lucas of Leeds United, former Manchester City youngster. Sabitzer, the experienced Austrian international. Svensson on the left-hand side. And then Adeyemi on the right, Bayer on the left. And Girassi, the top scorer through the middle. And number 9, the Guinea international, who was strongly challenged there. He wanted a free kick. I thought he might get it. And then Doku goes down, and referee Marciniak doesn't give him a free kick either. So there's consistency from the official. Here is Mecha with his yellow and black socks well down his calves, and then it goes back through Sabitzer to the halfway line. So 0-0, very early stages. We will be going to St James's Park for regular updates as well, where it is Newcastle 0, Athletic Bilbao 0. Ailey Barber is there. And if you haven't heard, if you just got back into your car or just switched on, Chelsea drew 2-2 with Karabag and our earlier commentary. So Chelsea still not into the top 8, Michael. They're in 10th place in the table, and incidentally Paphos, a very good 1-0 win against Villarreal, their first win in the Champions League, so they're up to 19th in the table, and Karabag are 12th in the table now since those earlier results. But 0-0 here.
Yeah, really prominent start, as we've mentioned. Dortmund, just seen Svensson coming off that left-hand side. He's just dropping in behind that midfield. Really brave forward passes, as I say, with intent. City trying to get hold of it, trying to get a feel. Pep Linders has just jumped up behind Pep Guardiola with some support, some tactical little shouts for him, which they haven't got going as yet, and he's trouble.
Given away by Matheus Nunes to Girassi. Girassi now looks for the overlap from Bayer. Bayer's cross, though, actually hits the defender and bounces away out of play for a throw-in next to the corner flag. They got away with that.
Yeah, they've got to be tighter, Bayer, on that overlap. He's got to deliver much better than that. Really weak. That left foot just come round it. Looks like they're going to go direct, long throw right onto the top of Manchester City's defence.
Must be all the rage in Germany as well, Michael.
It's everywhere. Who set that off, John?
Bayer is going to take this, the number 14, Maximilian Bayer. Up the slope he comes. Here's the throw to the near post. City stretch, get it away. Adeyemi plays it back in there. Haaland clears. Then a shot from Adeyemi, but he hit it down into the ground. It actually caused problems, and it needed Gvardiol to jump up and head it down and away. Back into the centre circle, you're right. Confident start from Borussia Dortmund, and why shouldn't it be? And a great noise coming out of their supporters, who are packed into the away end. Adeyemi's cross from the right-hand side, an in-swinger, but Gvardiol was in a good position. And here's Savinho now. Savinho does well, turns it infield. Reinders is going to drive forward with it. Bayer comes and just checks his progress, but Reinders is able to keep possession and then play it to Doku. Doku's right-footed ball all the way across the 6-yard box. It was a sort of inviting ball diagonally across the area, but no one in a sky blue shirt able to get a touch.
It wasn't like a cross, was it? It was like a pass into somebody's path. Reinders does very well, breaking lines, driving through the centre of the pitch, almost got caught and then just sweeps it out the left-hand side. That's where Doku wants, in transition, get some space and then get after people. But Dortmund going to be brave here now. Haaland just waiting to jump, him and Foden just waiting for that short pass into the goalkeeper.
Just saying that Club Brugge have taken the lead against Barcelona. They are not bad, Club Brugge, are they? 1-0 against Barcelona, and Pep Guardiola did, in his pre-match television interview, say on Rodri that Rodri doesn't feel perfect, so that's why we don't want to take a risk, and he said he will come back. So he may well come back on Sunday. Join us for that. This very place, Sunday afternoon, 4:30 kick-off in the Premier League. One of our 8 Premier League commentaries across the various platforms this weekend. But Manchester City against Liverpool, top of the bill. So 5 Live, your BBC Sounds app for that. And here at the back is John Stones, just his 8th start for Manchester City this season. And then Savinho is challenged. That's a foul by Ben Sebaini. 10 yards inside the Manchester City half, though. And referee Marciniak just puts up his finger towards Ben Sebaini as if to say, that's your first one. No yellow card yet.
Yeah, I don't think there was any need for any yellow cards. They've gone tight, aggressive press, City trying to play around it. I think what City haven't done yet, they haven't sent the long ball in behind wider areas. Doku, Savinho, Haaland need a run. I think they're playing into the hands, just waiting here to jump on and press. City have got to play over it.
It is Manchester City 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. Michael Brown with us, former Manchester City midfielder. And it is City in the sky blue shirts with that diagonal white stripe across the front of them this season. That's given away. Adeyemi's onto this. Adeyemi now into the penalty area, pulls it across, couldn't find Guirassy. The ball rattles free. City haven't got it away yet. And then in the end, it is pounced on by Gvardiol, who's able to take it out towards the far side, although Doku is put under pressure well, actually, by Ryerson. And that's out for a throw-in to Manchester City. We'll keep you across the 4 matches in the Championship tonight as well. The 3 of them 7:45 kickoffs. Just the 1 goal so far, as we heard from Tom Gale at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday winning 1-0 against struggling Norwich, and Portsmouth Wrexham just underway, the 8 o'clock kickoff. I noticed that the Norwich City manager Liam Manning is actually on Aaron Paul's 72 Plus podcast this week, so we'll see what happens to him tonight. Norwich, who are on this dreadful run. Manchester City attacking with O'Reilly, scored at the weekend. O'Reilly still going, flips the ball into the penalty area, the angle's tight, pulled back by Foden, but then cleared away in the middle by Schlotterbeck, out for a throw down the left-hand side.
And City come through the middle, but it's a great position. Nico O'Reilly, when he learns to come in from that left-hand side, it's that sort of like left of a midfield 3. Nico O'Reilly drives into positions, flicks it into Foden. Nobody at the end of it. Much better from City.
Yes, O'Reilly surging forward. A very good goal, wasn't it, on Sunday against Bournemouth? In the 3-1 win, Manchester City advancing towards the edge of the area with Foden in the D, shoots, parried, and then Savinho, who I think might have been in an offside position, couldn't get the shot on target. It came to him very quickly, blasted it wide and high, put his hands on his face, and I think the offside flag was up.
Yeah, it was. It was that classic Phil Foden where he's in the middle of the middle of the pitch, 25 yards out, sort of thing, just lets it go across him, then takes another touch. I'm thinking goal. He hits it so clean, really well. Right to Kobel, parries it out. Savinho in an offside position. Is much better. That's more like City, finding little areas, little positions. I really fancied Foden there to score.
Yeah, me too. He hit that very well, didn't he? But with the power, it was too close to Kobel, who couldn't hold it. I mean, it was fiercely hit. And the goalkeeper was just able to get his gloves up in front of his face and parry it out. And Savinho in the offside position wasn't able to hit the target anyway. Barcelona have equalised. Club Brugge 1, Barcelona 1. Torres making it 1-1. Going to go to Newcastle very shortly, but Borussia Dortmund on the attack. Adeyemi does well, gets to the byline, chips it across to the back post where Matheus Nunes was able to get a glance header on it, and then Bayer unable to bring it down for Dortmund. Now they break away with Reinders. Here is Haaland. Haaland through the middle. Haaland scored in every Champions League match this season, so all three. Indeed, he scored in his last 4 Champions League matches, 6 goals in that time. And there has been a goal at Newcastle. Ailey Barber.
And Newcastle have taken the lead, and it's the big man at the back, Dan Burn. A wonderful free kick from Trippier to the back post where Burn was all by himself, and it's a beautiful header back across the goalkeeper into the far post. Newcastle 1, Athletic Bilbao 0.
So Dan Burn opens the scoring for Newcastle United. Immediately takes me back to Wembley when Burn scored that header in the final that helped to take Newcastle United to victory. So Dan Burn, Newcastle 1, Athletic Bilbao, Athletic Club if you prefer, 0. Still 0-0 here, but it's a good game, Michael. Good start.
Yeah, really good start. It's one of those, isn't it, where the away side come with confidence and move them around and play forward and have that belief. And often we come to the Etihad where teams sit, they wait and delay. It's opened it right up. City's turn now, are coming back after it with that chance with Foden, but you know, that's what we want. It's really interesting. Those supporters behind the goal are very, very vocal for the away team.
They're helping the occasion, aren't they? When you get a set of supporters, and there must be, I would say 3,000 plus, who are here inside the Etihad Stadium. Borussia Dortmund have never won here. They've only won once against Manchester City in the 6 previous meetings, all in the Champions League. Free kick in the centre circle. Dortmund player Guirassy is down, rolling around on his back and pointing at his lower right leg, and he's not happy about that challenge, Michael.
Well, he's not. They just try to play out. You've got to go tight. You've seen centre-backs with the strikers, they're going as tight as they possibly can, but it's just a little late one as he gets caught just on his back foot. Gvardiol just steps forward, yeah, but it's... You see, we've just seen, haven't we, Slotterbeck just come right up the behind Haaland, and it's going to be the same, isn't it? No Ruben Diaz, he'd be the one really who would step forward, be the aggressive one on a number 9. But on the halfway line, that's classic, innit? Go tight. And there wasn't a great deal when I have a little look at it again.
No, he's okay. Well, he's back up, didn't receive treatment, Guirassy, and just hobbling, but now he breaks into a run, and those Borussia Dortmund fans absolutely all in unison. You can hear them chanting, clapping their hands up in the air in the 2 tiers. They've brought various of their yellow and black banners, the Schwarz-Gelben as they call them. Have you been to the Borussia Dortmund?
No.
Have we been there together? Oh, that is one of, you have to go there. That is one of the places to go.
Well, thank you very much. You might invite me on the next one. That would be great of you. I was actually waiting for the start. You said around 3,000. I was expecting the exact amount.
Okay. As Matheus Nunes wins the free kick down in his right back position. It was Bensebaini bursting forward from the back. Yes, the Westfalen Stadium, for anyone who's not been there and would love the experience of a European football stadium, there aren't many better. Ball played forward for Savinho, and then Svensson in with a challenge. Yellow card comes straight out, he mistimed it, took down Savinho. Now there was a covering defender, the captain Schlotterbeck was the next in line, but referee Marciniak, absolutely, talk about decisive referee, he's seen that one as a foul. Yellow card was straight out, and the left back is on a booking.
Yeah, he's on a booking, but I think you could see straight away he just didn't really get it. It was that run inside, the pace just done him. He sort of ran round thinking he was outside him, Savinho, but he'd actually come inside him. He just checked his shoulder too late, Savino pushed it past him, that late challenge, but there was a covering defender. An easy decision, but good wing play, real pace.
Yep, first yellow card of the match. I mean, Savino. Oh, dear me.
Was it Savino was fencing as quick as me?
Well, I think that might be a good point. He made him. I mean, that was the classic. He looked like he was treading in treacle, didn't he? And Savino sort of. It's like watching. Anyway, here's Foden with a free kick. Hits it low round the wall, but straight at Coble, who's able to take it. As you know, Michael, I'm quite a careful driver, and that was that feeling I quite often get in the inside lane when one of those flash cars, the sort of ones that you drive, would go past me there.
Yeah, I'd have gone straight past you around the outside, but he just checked the wrong side, didn't he? Checked the wrong mirror.
He did.
If he'd have come inside, he'd have got it, but he got away with it.
Absolutely, took him out. So
now direct, isn't it? 1v1s. I'm straight away looking, get Savino on the ball. He's actually going forward, but he's drifted into the middle areas in his fence, and that's what the recovery time is maybe a little bit different.
Yeah.
Benzabani is just the one who steps just out to the left.
Yeah, Benzabani, the Algerian international. Manchester City 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. Manchester City second in the Premier League, Dortmund third in the Bundesliga. And what about the latest in those championship matches? In fact, we're going to go to Aaron Paul, QPR Southampton.
0-0 here. A bit of a mixed start here. Plenty of fireworks in the background, not many on the pitch. John, we've had an opportunity for QPR from Liam Morrison. He's sent a 30-yarder over the bar, and that's pretty much it, 0-0.
Savino attacking down the right-hand side. Benzabani was the man he had to beat here. He did get the cross in, but Svensson was inside him in the penalty area and blocked it behind for a corner. Manchester City's first.
Yeah, good recovery runs all round. As City try and divert with a little overlap, try and push the ball in. Now a set piece. Is it going to be on top of the goalkeeper? Haaland right next to him. All the shirts are right back in around that 6-yard area.
Foden to take this, whips it in, and it's headed away. It goes Benzabani. Then the shot from Reinders, but that's way off target. Unless it was deflected, was it? He absolutely smashed it back into the penalty area. No, it wasn't. It was out of play for a throw to Dortmund.
You've been very kind to him. It looked really good, didn't it? It went through the crowd thinking, has that got a chance? As he travelled towards that sort of right-hand side, out for a throw-in, just waiting. It's taking the time now as they're being put under a little bit of pressure. But that set piece right on top of the goalkeeper, trying to get a little bit of a lead on it, a little bit more pace on the next one, probably.
Yeah. Manchester City 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. If you remember, Reinders scored on his Premier League debut against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Played really well that day, didn't he? And
it was a great finish, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a great
it was.
run, and you're thinking, here he is, and then he started well.
Goals.
Then he's had a little bit of an indifferent one. Now he's got to come back and really take charge of that midfield area. It's open for him to play every single week if he does well enough.
He certainly has the potential to be an effective goal-scoring midfielder, but as yet, that's the only goal that he scored for Manchester City. It's 0-0. Here's Guirassy, tall, strong, shaven-headed. Guirassy, little shimmy from him. It's the first time I've seen Guirassy live, actually, as this comes to nothing. And then Savino goes past Benzabani and then cuts back and then goes down. I'm not sure there was too much in that. He does go down, wins the free kick. Oh my goodness. He ran into Benzabani as much as anything, but he's got the free kick.
But you see how they couldn't touch him down that left-hand side, so he got away with it actually. It wasn't a great bit of skill, it looked exciting. But then he come back onto his left foot. I don't think he should do that. He should have just travelled straight at Spencer, who's on that yellow card. I think that's the key. Sort of lets him away, good play.
Pep Guardiola comes to the edge of his coaching area, very formal tonight. He's wearing a suit. You don't often see that, do you? Doku playing it infield. Here's Gonzalez. He shoots, blocked on the edge of the penalty area, bounces down. Defender goes down, Schlotterbeck, and the referee says it's a free kick. Debatable. I thought the players just came together there. And he ended up crashing to the ground and winning a free kick.
Has he been shot or is he a shoot? Which one? I had me confused.
Club Brugge back in front. Carlos Forbes making it Club Brugge 2, Barcelona 1. And we will hear, by the way, from the Chelsea camp at half-time after their 2-2 draw in Azerbaijan. So that'll be at half-time, and also we will hear from Rory McIlroy. Our golf correspondent Ian Carter has been speaking to Rory McIlroy today, and he will be on at half-time. Newcastle winning 1-0 against Athletic Bilbao. Schlotterbeck's okay, ball and play back underway. Schlotterbeck, the number 4, the captain of Borussia Dortmund, who's had a knee injury, and he missed the match on Friday night against Augsburg because of illness. But important player in their setup, Schlotterbeck, one of the players in this team who started that Champions League final in 2024 against Real Madrid at Wembley. You know, there are actually 5 of them in that team. Only 5 in the team are starting this match tonight. So Kobel, the goalkeeper, Schlotterbeck, Ryerson at right wing back tonight, Sabitzer in midfield, and Adeyemi. That's quite a churn, isn't it? Savinho passing it forward, but that's cut out by Bensebaini, plays it up to Bayer, and then it is out of play after the challenge from Mateus Nunes for a throw into Manchester City.
Yeah, it's just gone a little bit scrappy. No one's having real control of it. Haaland, all the build-up, all the talk. He's not really had a touch yet. Is that dangerous? Is that something you're just waiting, aren't you? And then all of a sudden he jumps up. Yes, it is. Here he is.
Here is Foden now. Foden carries it forward. Chest puffed out. Then passes the ball to Savinho. Savinho, Bensebaini trying to get there. It's played all the way across, and Haaland couldn't get a touch. Arriving on the edge of the 6-yard box. Whether it just took a deflection, perhaps, to take it away from him. But that had goal written all over it. But the ball's still alive, and it's still 0-0 as Niko Kovac comes forward as well for the first time in his white trainers, the former Bayern Munich coach, just like Pep Guardiola, now in charge of Borussia Dortmund after taking over during the course of last season and taking Dortmund into the Champions League places. Foden now comes forward and shoots and scores, finds the bottom corner. Phil Foden, pinpoint from him, and Manchester City get the early goal just over 20 minutes on the clock, and they're 1-0 up.
Now you just watch Foden, he just waits in that little area, that number 10 position. They try and press for the centre-backs. There's 2v1 on Haaland as he's trying to stretch it. They've got to go tighter. There was a warning just before as he lets it come across. He just checks his shoulder, opens up, and this time he doesn't go for power. He sees that far post. He just curls it with great accuracy, with ease, upright as he just curls it into the far corner. It's exquisite, beautiful finish, and Foden runs off to that right-hand side. What quality he's got.
Yeah, that's what Manchester City supporters want to see more of. And he'd already had a sighter, hadn't he, earlier on in the match, in the day. And this one he was able to take to the edge of the area, and even though Kobel dived down to his right, it was too accurate from Foden.
It's
too well hit.
So good. It's clean. He knows exactly what he's doing. The goalkeeper then in that position thinking, is he going to chop it? Is he going to check? Is he going to go for power? He just waits and he just curls it all the way round. It's not even with power. It's just he gets his head up, has a look. He's already seeing. He just uses the defender right around that outside, just getting little clips and little looks of it. See the focus in his eyes, John. He knows, he sees it right around that goalkeeper's right hand.
Strokes it, doesn't he? A low shot, a little bit of curl on it, and Kobel, even though he's full stretch, right arm outstretched, he can't get there, and it's right in the bottom corner. That was vintage Phil Foden, and that is absolutely, as I said, what supporters of club and country want to see. And of course, you know, there is a question this week whether he'll be back in the England squad. Don't think there'll be too many changes as City come forward again. Reinders, but goalkeeper Kobel comes. That was bravery. Dived in there, got a punch on it, took out Reinders, play still, ball still alive, and then it comes out to Adeyemi, and Dortmund look to break away, and clearly the Manchester City players feel that that should have been given as a penalty, suggestion being, but I think he took the ball and the man, Kobel, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, just get a little look. Reinders runs late. It's that deep ball in towards the goalkeeper. It's a great run. We get another look here. Goalkeeper's first to it. There is contact. Spins Reinders up into the air, and it will be an uncomfortable one. But he certainly looked in those pitches that he was there much earlier than Reinders.
Yeah, I mean, he was brave goalkeeping. Came for it, got to it, and then you know, his goalkeepers probably have to. Took the ball and the man as well who was threatening. So we'll have a little stoppage here. I think they'll have to have a look at Reinders, although he has actually got to his feet. He's okay. Kobel gives him a pat on the back. Actually, you know, it was a high foot from Reinders, was jumping into the challenge as well, so there was a high foot for goalkeeper Kobel to consider as well.
Yeah, you know, it was committed from both people.
It was.
You know, but what we're going to see now is whether Reinders hurt or not. He knows there's contact. What's he going to do? He's going to wait, he's going to stay and let them have a look at it just in case there's anything. He doesn't want it to let it slide. That's unfortunately what we have with VAR now in those situations where you know it's very, very tight. They'll just delay and let them look.
Yeah, but play continues. Manchester City leading against Borussia Dortmund by 1-0. England's Phil Foden, the goal scorer, his third of this season. Going to go back to Newcastle in a moment, who are winning 1-0, but here's Savinho now. Manchester City threatening again. Savinho's low ball across, but a stretch and a clearance by Schlotterbeck, and Borussia Dortmund bring it away. So back to Tyneside and Elie Barber.
Newcastle still with that 1-0 lead, but they have been so sloppy on the ball. Gifted Athletic Bilbao a corner, and from it, when the ball was cleared, it went as far as Adama, who absolutely leathered an effort towards Nick Pope's goal, and it smashed back off the post. So a bit of a let-off for Newcastle. Still Newcastle 1, Athletic Bilbao 0.
Borussia Dortmund on the attack, trying to respond to the opening goal from Manchester City, and then Adeyemi with a foul on Gvardiol, and it's a free kick to Manchester City, are in their own left-back position. Phil Foden scored home and away against Borussia Dortmund when they played each other in the quarter-finals of the Champions League back in 2021, and on the score sheet again today. So his previous 2 goals this season against Manchester United here in the derby, and then against Huddersfield in the Carabao Cup. Now he's got another one in the Champions League. Well, how many appearances did you say that he'd had in the Champions League now? Can you remember?
Was it like 60 something?
62, yeah. Was it? Was it 62, 63? No, that's a fair body of work, isn't it? For someone of his age. Well, I suppose he's 25 years old now, plays in the Champions League every season. But took that away beautifully. 1-0 Manchester City lead. Back to Hillsborough in the Championship, Tom Gale.
Wednesday 1, Norwich 0, Bannon screamer, and the host close to a second. Left back Amas whips the ball in. Jamal Lowe headed from 8 yards out. We've got 5 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half. Wednesday 1, Norwich 0.
Now Manchester City coming forward. Haaland and O'Reilly together. Haaland barging his way through, setting up O'Reilly, who is in the middle. 12, 13 yards out, shot goal, and Kobel was able to push it over the top for a corner.
Yeah, great position again from Nico O'Reilly as he just spins Haaland, just supplier, and he just hits it too straight, doesn't it? Goalkeeper just pushes that hand to the right hand side as he diverts it over the bar, but he should have scored anywhere around his feet. I think it's a goal.
Corner then, outswinger for Manchester City from the left hand side. Goal scorer Foden to take this towards the penalty spot. Schlotterbeck gets up, heads it away, nodded back in by Reinders and cleared away by Borussia Dortmund to the halfway line. Producer Nathan has just pointed out that Foden had a... Was that today? Was that just now? Yeah, it was. Here's Savinho, plays the ball across the 6-yard box. Kobel on the stretch, got a hand to it, and it's clawed away by Ryerson, the right back. Now Doku into the area, shrugs off the challenge. His ball across. Haaland! Left foot! 2-0! Absolutely thrashed into the back of the Borussia Dortmund net to score against his old club. The captain on the mark with his 18th goal for Manchester City this season, his 27th for club and country, and it's 2-0.
Savinho starting it down the right hand side, the goalkeeper parries it out, but City just lock it in. Jeremy Doku, that little stop and flick, drives the line, pulls it back. Haaland just coming from that back post inside, left footed, just outside the 6 area, sweeps it in. He doesn't miss those. He said he's not been in the game so far, and it will be dangerous. Another goal for Haaland, but Doku the supplier.
2 goals in 7 minutes, 2-0 to Manchester City, and it would seem on the way to victory again in the Champions League. Still a long way to go, an hour of play, but they are in the mood tonight. And a goal for Foden and a goal for Haaland. So that means he's now scored in 5 consecutive Champions League matches, going back into last season and this season. 7 goals in those last 5 Champions League appearances. And And still it will remain after this that there will only have been 2 matches this season in which he's not scored. Foden taking it on again, looking for a third. Manchester City dragged back and cleared away by Borussia Dortmund, who win a free kick after a foul on Adeyemi by O'Reilly. So 2-0 it is. And I was struck actually in the match programme tonight, the bumper Champions League style match programme. Pep Guardiola said in there, he said, since the FIFA Club World Cup, quote, I've had a good feeling about the team. He says, I have the feeling we're getting better and better. And they are playing well here against a good team.
They're under pressure straight away, first 5 minutes, but now how quickly they look, dynamic in the wider positions with intensity, and it's opening space up, and see with Foden and Haaland getting into areas. It's really important, isn't it? The wide players contribute quickly, and they have done, Savinho and Doku.
Yeah, and it's certainly setting Sunday up, isn't it, with Liverpool playing as they did last night against Real Madrid, and Manchester City looking good here against Borussia Dortmund. In the Championship, still Preston 0, Swansea 0, and still Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0 in the other 2 matches. Quite a quiet night, really, goals-wise in the Champions League. Club Brugge winning 2-1 against Barcelona. Here is Sabitzer towards the edge of the penalty area, then Doku slides in on the challenge against Guirassy and actually was caught by Guirassy, and that's given us a free kick to Manchester City. Yes, 2-0 here, Foden and Haaland the scorers. Newcastle 1-0 up through the Burn goal, and earlier, again, if you've just switched on, Chelsea drew 2-2 against Karabakh. Just keep an eye on Doku, who seemed to slip into that as Guirassy challenged him.
He was the one player as well. You know, we're looking as well. Pep Guardiola have kept him to be the main man, the wide attacking threat against Liverpool, but he's Doku in. But just going back to the Phil Foden one, I think it's his 64th Champions League appearance. He's at 19 goals. For such a young man and what he's won already. You talk about England, you talk about should he be in the squad. I mean, how can you overlook him? I don't think that's possible anymore.
Well, obviously the question on Friday will be whether Jude Bellingham gets back in, but I think the Foden question is there as well. Here's Mecha. Oh, nice footwork from him, but into the D on the edge of the box, wasn't able to get the shot in. Preston are winning, by the way. Thierry Small has scored in that match, so Preston 1-0 up on Swansea. And 2-0 to Manchester City. Yes, that squad named Friday morning, so you'll hear that on 5 Live. We'll hear from Thomas Tuchel as well.
What's your first question?
Well, depends what the squad is. Depends who's in the squad and who's not in the squad, Michael. But I don't think there'll be many changes again because everything went so well last month. But certainly Bellingham, in the form that he's been in, you know, he and Real Madrid weren't at their best last night. Savinho now forward, and then Reinders with a shot which is well saved by Kobel. Goodness me, caught that well. That was bang on target from Reinders, and the rebound couldn't fall well enough for Haaland, who was just able to scuff it wide. But Savinho's had an excellent night so far tonight.
Yeah, he has, but just look, that quick ball from Phil Foden. I said about the diagonal passes to create the space in a 1v1. And as it steps into the middle of the pitch, Reinders just comes across, right-footed, good height for the goalkeeper. Haaland on the rebound, just heads it wide.
Absolutely put his foot through that shot, didn't he? And Kobel, diving to his right, was able to make the save. So City have scored 2, but Kobel's made a number of saves. But here's Adeyemi now with a run, and then Guirassy overhits that pass horribly all the way through for a goal kick. But Donnarumma, who's been untroubled, the Manchester City goalkeeper so far tonight, will take. Because you mentioned it earlier, Michael, the substitutes tonight for Borussia Dortmund. So they've got the 2 goalkeepers, Ostrozinski and Meyer, but the outfield substitutes are Couto, who used to be a Manchester City player, Job Bellingham, who we know all about, England under-21 international, moved from Sunderland in the summer, Pascal Gross, once of Brighton, Chukwuemeka, who moved from Chelsea, former Aston Villa man as well, Fabio Silva, former Wolves, Emre Can, former Liverpool, and Aaron Anselmino, who's on loan from Chelsea. So all of the outfield players have played in England. Here is Savinho again, excellent run from him, pulling his foot over the ball, but perhaps trying to do too much with that, and Bayer was able to take it off him and run it back the other way towards the halfway line, and there is a Dortmund player down on the far side of the pitch. I'm thinking it might be Ryerson, the right back. So we'll work that out, and actually the physios are being sent on. Let's get an update from QPR again, from Aaron Paul.
Half-time here, John. QPR 0, Southampton 0. Limited chances. The ones that have come have been for the home side. Liam Morrison drilling a shot over the bar. Elias Chair drilling one wide. The fireworks in the West London skyline offering far better entertainment thus far. It is QPR 0, Southampton 0.
Yes, but where we sit here at Manchester City, we can't see a single square inch of the sky, but I know driving into Manchester tonight there are fireworks going off everywhere. It's like our own personal fireworks display.
Aaron Paul likes the fireworks. He's enjoying the night. I do as well, Aaron, if you're listening.
Yeah, very good. Although Halloween's sort of become almost a bigger thing, hasn't it, than fireworks night? We're able to discuss that because Ryerson is still receiving treatment over on the far side. It is half-time, Preston winning 1-0 against Swansea, so that Thierry Small goal. And also half-time at Hillsborough, Tom Gale.
Wednesday 1, Norwich 0. Bannon's goal of the season contender in the 4th minute. Norwich have lost their last 6 and have lost every game where they've conceded first. Huge second half for their boss Liam Manning. Half-time, Wednesday 1, Norwich 0.
Ryerson is just being helped off the field here. As I mentioned, Michael, Norwegian international, and I think he's all right, don't you? He's sort of flexing his right knee, but this is such a big international window coming up for Norway, as Erling Haaland was pointing out yesterday, for him and his teammates. And that's why there is a theory
that...
that...
be saying, can you just go and have a quick rest?
yeah, get off the field.
Off you go, mate.
That's why there's the talk that Odegaard, might be in the Norwegian squad, because they obviously have a live chance of qualifying for the World Cup, and they haven't been there since '98. And the last match, on the last night of qualifying, is Italy, Donnarumma and co, against Norway in Milan, in the San Siro. And it may well be that Italy have to win that to overtake Norway at the top of the group. So that is one of the World Cup qualifiers to look forward to over the course of the next couple of weeks. Ryerson, I think, is okay. He's back on the field anyway, so that's a relief for anyone who's listening in Norway. Here's Haaland. Don't want anything happening to him either, do they? Neither them nor anyone with Manchester City. So reliant on him. Although Foden has now reached 3 goals this season, so he's the second top scorer, all on his own, behind Haaland's 18. Foden playing it forward for Haaland. He's been forced wide by the pass. He's onto it on his left foot. Crosses to the back post, and it's turned behind by Ryerson for a corner.
Yeah, look at Nico O'Reilly's run as well. Go all the way to that back post, almost gets on the end of it. Haaland tries to get away, pulls it onto that left foot as he flicks the ball right the way across, and he's getting some good positions, isn't he? He's not afraid to leave it. Just wonder if that's going to be a position that he can keep, that left back area, Nico O'Reilly, when the bigger games start to land.
So it is a corner to Manchester City, who lead by 2-0. Foden and Haaland combined there. They're the men who've scored the 2 goals. Borussia Dortmund supporters at that end are on their feet and watching Foden take this corner into the near post, but that was well up and headed away by Guirassy. Finds its way back to Foden, left-footed cross, that's dangerous. 2 City players went for the same ball, and it was headed up in the air, I think, by O'Reilly. He was the player who ended up on the net, on the floor, and it was caught by Coble. I must mention, by the way, otherwise Ian Dennis will be ticking me off. So that was Haaland's 160th goal for Manchester City, and at the weekend, and Ian was telling me, he's been counting all the way through how many goals Haaland has scored, left foot, right foot, and with his head. And the one that he scored on Sunday, that was his 100th with his left foot. So that was his 101st with his left foot. Here's Adeyemi, lovely run into the box, left foot shot, Donnarumma goes down, makes the save, pushes it back out into the penalty area. Fortunately for Manchester City, it fell to a teammate, O'Reilly, who was able to clear it away. But Adeyemi's been sharp. Really good, steps inside, steps down the line, he's running in behind, he's got a little bit of difference in his game, comes in on that left foot, good strike, good strong hand from Donnarumma. They had a look at him at Manchester United when he was a youngster, came through at Bayern Munich though. Adeyemi, German international, cross from the left from Bayer, that's cleared away. Foden plays it further away. Reinders, who's had a couple of efforts saved tonight. I think in the main, I think Pep Guardiola in his suit will be very pleased with the performance that his team have put in tonight. brown leather shoes as well, laced up. Here's Adeyemi. Adeyemi carrying the ball forward, up against O'Reilly, into the penalty area. And then back it goes. Sabitzer with the cross. That actually hits Mateus Nunes, and Donnarumma will be able to pick it up. And actually on Guardiola, maybe why he's wearing a suit, is that if you include his matches as the coach of Barcelona's B team, which I think you do have to because they're playing the second division, don't they? This is his 999th League and Cup match as a coach, and indeed his 549th at Manchester City, so it'll be 550 on Sunday against Liverpool.
You and Ian have been busy, haven't you, with your counting?
Well, it's November now. The nights are drawing in. Here's,
long night.
Yeah, long night. Stones bring the ball out from the back, and then back it goes by Mateus Nunes to Donnarumma. Important save that, wasn't it, to keep it at 2-0?
Big save. He's been asked questions at times. He's been consistent. He's been very steady, hasn't he, so far in his Manchester City career? He just pushes the ball around. This guy on the balls, can he get more minutes? We talk about internationals. We talk about, you know, Champions Leagues and title-winning teams for Pep Guardiola. John Stones. Yeah,
started both of the England matches last month. And I know that, and here he is on the ball, and he's under pressure, and he's lost it to Girassi, and now Bayer in the area, then Adeyemi with a chance. That was blocked by Gvardiol. Ball bounces up in the air. Donnarumma comes and punches it. Surely he could have caught that. Then it bounces down and is worked away. Well, John Stones there got himself and his team into all sorts of bother by hanging onto the ball. It's not often you see that. You know, you'd see that in his early days, John Stones. Very rarely these days.
To be fair to him, if he'd have made the decision to go at the goalkeeper, I think that was a bigger risk. From the way the play developed, he could have just hoofed it with his left foot. He tried to just flick it back around the corner, almost to Foden. But it wasn't a huge mistake. He was boxed in from other angles. I think it was good press as well.
O'Reilly commits a foul on Adeyemi on the halfway line. Manchester City 2, Borussia Dortmund 0. BBC 5 Live, listen as well to 5 Live via the BBC Sounds app. And there is a Champions League final score tonight as well, by the way, so you can listen to our commentary and see the bit of printer stats, the graphics. Again, this season, you might not have heard, the Champions League clips are available to watch from 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night on the various BBC platforms. And there is a Champions League match of the day tonight on BBC One. Gabby Logan with a star-studded lineup. Ashley Cole with Stephen Warnock and Julien Laurent. Half-times in the National League: Altrincham 1, Boston 0, Braintree 0, Brackley 0, Solihull 2, Truro 0, Sutton 2, Eastleigh 0, Woking 0, Southend 0, and York 3, Gateshead 0. Here is Manchester City with Mateus Nunes, and then Foden, and back it goes towards the edge of the penalty area. Yes, Foden as well. It was his 200th league appearance, wasn't it, at the weekend for Manchester City?
Nico did well there, you know. He's not really got enough credit for how he's just propping that holding midfield row. It's all about Rodri, but good position. Good from Foden again on the halfway line. Holds off the challenge, gives it to Savinho. Savinho cutting in field, square along the edge of the box. Haaland, left foot shot, straight at Kobel, who drops forward and is able to save it comfortably. But another one to notch against his name, Kobel. Haaland with a shot. Yeah, good effort. Savinho really strong down the right-hand side, unselfish as he sees Haaland on the edge of the area. He gets a sighter, doesn't he? Good clean strike, direct to the goalkeeper. But City is starting to cruise now. Starting to be comfortable. People dropping in, saying, let me get on the ball. Little flicks, little passes. Reinders on this occasion into Nico, doing little pirouettes, little circles. They're on a high. Manchester City with the ball inside their own half. We've got just under 90 seconds of the first 90 minutes to play. So Haaland, in scoring in 5 consecutive Champions League appearances, as Savinho's caught offside, he's done that now for 3 different clubs. He did it when he was at Salzburg, scoring in 5 Champions League matches in a row. He did it at Dortmund for this club that we're watching here tonight, scored in 6 in a row for them, and now he's done it for Manchester City. He's the first man to do that for 3 different clubs. Here's Adeyemi. Adeyemi is challenged by Nico Gonzalez.
who takes the ball forward, still going, but both Mecha and Anton are able to close him down and win the ball back, and it is back with Valdemar Anton, the Uzbekistan-born German international defender. So we've got an Uzbekistan-born player on both sides tonight, with Husanov among the Manchester City subs this evening. Ball out towards Adeyemi on the right-hand side. Adeyemi then plays it. Sabitzer is there. His cross, though, is cleared up in the air by Stones, and it's come out to Savinho. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Savinho off and running. Haaland through the middle. There's the pass. Schlotterbeck just shields it as Kobel comes out, and the goalkeeper, well out of his penalty area, is able to go foot first and clear it out near the halfway line.
That was so typical Haaland, wasn't he? Just waiting for the pass, whether he goes it into his left-hand side or whether it goes down that right. He's just waiting for the pass, gets in and around it, but Kobel just comes out. Really good sort of distance from the goalkeeper. Schlotterbeck just trying to guide, trying to delay and wait. It was one of those again, wasn't it, where Haaland gets on his stride and has a one-on-one, which we've seen so many at the weekend.
2-0 Manchester City. Newcastle still winning 1-0. Newcastle were 11th in the Champions League table coming into today. Here's Doku with a run into the box, still going, and then Kobel is able to come out and actually grabs the ball at his feet. Defender went with him, Anton, but it came to nothing from Doku, given out by the Dortmund goalkeeper. And then Adeyemi passes it along the back line to Schlotterbeck. We've got 1 minute of added time. Inter are winning 1-0 against Kairat, and Lautaro Martinez has scored that one for Inter, as Savinho tried to flick it past Ben Sebaini, who blocks it out for a throw. And we've got less than 45 seconds of the first half to play. Entertaining. City have played well. Borussia Dortmund actually played well at times. Important save from Donnarumma. From, who was it who had the shot for Borussia Dortmund?
Adeyemi, as he comes inside with that left foot.
I remembered. Didn't make a note of that, so I'll do that now. But that was an important moment. But City have been good.
Game management now, John, here. Yeah. Pep will just not want to be counted like this here. You see him going crazy.
Giving it away to Mecha. Then through the middle to Guirassy. Guirassy will have a goal, but it flies away wide and high and behind into the emptying seats in the lower tier of the North Stand, which is very much taking shape. So it's a goal kick for Manchester City. There's the half-time whistle. Yes, the new top tier of there, as it says, I lean down and look under the roof in front of us. It's written on the front of that top tier, something special is coming, which is the top tier of the stand. But there we are. We've seen one or two special things in the first half and a couple of decent goals from Foden and Haaland. 2-0.
Yeah, really good half of football. Full credit to Borussia Dortmund, coming out fast, little passes, getting inside City, causing them problems. A little bit of a little bit of a twist from Pep to change a couple of things around to stop that happening. And then they were bright in attack. They created chances. It was Phil Foden had one opportunity at the goalkeeper, second one inside on that left foot, really good quality, to caresses it into the corner. And then Haaland, a matter of time, Doku supplying, and then he goes sweeping it in for City's second. So really, really strong half after a sort of a slow start from City.
Yes, it's an extremely mild night tonight, isn't it? And Manchester City are warming up nicely for Liverpool on Sunday. Half-time here in the Champions League, 2-0 up on Borussia Dortmund.
Thank you very much, John Murray. Michael, Foden heard that they wanted strikers other than Erling Haaland, and he stepped up.
But he stepped up, he was listening, wasn't he, straight away. he had that position, Kelly. Do you know where, obviously, you're looking at the two centre-backs, because Haaland's just sort of stretching them slightly, but the midfielders have got to try and realise, but they overload it well, and then he just pops up. He can't be everywhere, and his awareness is so good. Over that shoulder, he had one effort straight at the goalkeeper, really, really clean. As myself and John felt like he should have scored, but then the second one, he just waits, uses the defender, lovely, lovely finish, and then another early ball. He's popping up with confidence, getting better. England squad's been mentioned. Pep will be delighted that he's finding the net.
I meant to say as well, I didn't finish the sentence during the commentary. Nathan pointed out to me, our producer tonight, that Foden, he seemed to be down in that corner for a long time. He was having a selfie taken with a fan in the stands. And
really?
I mean, and it was on social media before you knew it, Kelly.
Well, of course. Where else would it be? Everything's done for the gram these days.
Exactly.
We were talking about Phil Foden getting that goal as well, Michael, but Erling Haaland, captain for the evening, up against his former side. 7 goals in his last 5 Champions League appearances. Of course he scored in this one.
And honestly, against his former side, we're on about John just give a lovely record about in the Champions League as well, what he's produced already. Given the captain's armband, we didn't discuss that too much at the start of the game. He was part of that sort of captain's group with Bernardo Silva, Diaz, Rodri, and we were wondering when he'd captain before. It was against Newcastle, but now getting that leadership, getting that understanding. Quiet start from him, but then in and around he had one opportunity, just went away from him, and then he just steps, he finds the right position and a lovely sweeping finish. Another good run just after that as well. So getting better and better. The manager said so down to earth, so sort of part of the team and understanding what's needed. And as you know, recently as well, Kelly, he's had to defend, he's had to find a different way when City weren't at their sort of brightest. And he was patient, he did it, he stepped in and he waited and delayed wherever he could, defensively in set pieces. But now at the other end, he's getting his rewards.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you, John. We'll be back with you for the second half. Manchester City looking very comfortable at half-time against Borussia Dortmund. They are 2-0 up. Phil Foden and Erling Haaland with the goals there. Meanwhile, at St James's Park, it's Newcastle against Athletic Bilbao. Ailey Barber's been watching this one. Ailey.
And under the vibrant glare of the Beaver supermoon, which is right above me here at St James's Park, Newcastle are doing just enough. It's been a bit scrappy, both sides guilty of gifting possession away, but we have had chances. Joe Linton had the ball in the net very early on, but that was disallowed for offside. But in 11 minutes we had the breakthrough. Dan Burn guiding a glorious header from a Trippier free kick right across the keeper, curling in to the far corner to give Newcastle the lead. Joe Linton should have doubled it, played through, his first effort was saved, it came back to him, and with the goal gaping, he fired over the top. Anthony Gordon's picked up an injury, he's gone off. Atletico Bilbao, they've worked really, really hard, particularly off the ball. Their best chance from Adaba's ferocious strike, but it cannoned back off the post. So at the break it is Newcastle 1, Athletic Bilbao 0.
Ailey, thank you very much for the update, and thank you very much for the first mention of the evening of the Beaver supermoon, which of course should have been taking precedence. Half-time in the 8 o'clock kick-off in the Championship. It's Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0, and we'll have reaction to Chelsea's draw with Qarabag earlier today. On the way after the BBC News with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Police are looking for 2 prisoners who've been released from HMP Wandsworth in South London by mistake. William Smith, who's 35, was serving time for fraud. Brahim Khador Sharif is 24 and from Algeria. He'd appeared in court on sex offences. Philip Ingram is a security expert.
Whenever you get then additional pressures coming in, which results in other people who are in prison having to be released quickly, and you don't have the right numbers of trained staff, and you've got poor leadership across our prison service, then these sorts of mistakes will happen.
The father of the Southport killer says he bears his share of the responsibility for his son murdering 3 young girls at a dance class last summer. Alphonse Rudder-Cabana has told a public inquiry that Axel threatened to kill him, but he feared he'd be taken away if he reported his concerns. Joey Barton's told a court he never meant to suggest that Jeremy Vine was a paedophile. The former footballer denies sending offensive messages with intent to cause distress or anxiety. The Radio 2 presenter says he was devastated by the messages he received. A father says he used his car to hit a man suspected of stabbing 10 people on a train in Cambridgeshire on Saturday. Dave Scott was waiting to collect his daughter at Huntingdon Station when the alleged attacker tried to get into his car. And President Trump says Americans have a choice between communism or common sense after a 34-year-old Democrat won New York's mayoral election. Zoran Mamdani says his victory is the start of a new era and has promised to stand up for the city.
The Rugby Union Autumn Internationals continue. On Saturday, Ireland face Japan at 20-1 on Sports Extra 3. On Sports Extra 2, Scotland host the All Blacks at 3:10, and England take on Fiji at 20-6 on 5 Sports Extra. Unbelievable scenes! And on Sunday, Wales take on Argentina at 3:10 on Sports Extra 2.
The Rugby Union Autumn Internationals.
Keep up to date with all the insight and analysis with the Rugby Union Weekly Podcast.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport, the Champions League with Kelly Cates.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Manchester City are 2-0 up against Borussia Dortmund at half-time at the Etihad in the Champions League. Newcastle lead Athletic Bilbao by 1-0. We'll be back to the Etihad for second half commentary very shortly. The Abu Dhabi Masters gets underway tomorrow. Rory McIlroy currently is leading the race to Dubai. He spoke to correspondent Ian Carter after an eventful few weeks.
these 2 weeks I really need to be locked in. I need to be playing well. And it's not as if I came to these last two events last year and I finished third and first. So, but I could approach them a little more relaxed, I guess. With Marco so close, with Tyrrell just behind him, and with so many points on offer over these next 2 weeks, I know I'm going to have to play well. So, in a way, that's a nice challenge. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was the 2020, or 22 or 23 race to Dubai. I remember I was flying to Dubai, and I sort of had found out on the plane that I'd won the race to Dubai before we'd even competed at the last event. So, it would be lovely to win it that way every single time, but at the same time, I'm excited for the challenge of these next 2 weeks. And I remember trying to win my first race to Dubai in 2009 and going up against Westwood those last couple of events, and I was motivated and hungry and really wanted to do it, and I'm sure that's exactly how Marco feels. So, it's going to be an exciting couple of weeks.
And he's an exciting talent, isn't he?
He absolutely is, yeah. I'd followed him a little bit, even how he came through the Challenge Tour. Obviously, he had his struggles at the start of this year, but how he's responded since then has been amazing. Winning at Hainan and then just continuing that good play all the way through. I watched a lot of the Spanish Open on TV, which he won, so I'm pretty familiar with his game, but it'll be nice to get a up close view of it over these next couple of days in Abu Dhabi.
You couldn't have a bigger juxtaposition in terms of support and noise for you between the K Club and Beth Page.
Yeah.
Could you?
No.
I mean, how do you reflect on that? I don't want to dwell too much on the crowd thing, but I think it's important to ask you.
Yeah.
You were the target.
Yeah. I think there's a certain part of me that takes it as a compliment, because I think that's what they felt like they needed to do to disrupt us or get inside of our heads or whatever it is. And this is the crowd I'm talking about, not the US team or the players. They were amazing and incredible, and couldn't have been more, I guess, apologetic of some of the stuff that they heard on the golf course. But yeah, I take it as a compliment that they targeted me in a way. But then at the same time, it was a tough week. But I think that made us better as a team. I think it galvanized us, and it really made us put our arms around each other. And I was just so happy to have Shane beside me on Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon. He was like the big brother I never had out there those 2 afternoons, and he played incredible golf to keep us in it, and we won 1.5 points out of our 2 matches. And then because of that, I feel like it coming down to him and him holding that putt, it was just a perfect way to end the week.
It was amazing. Just one more thing on the crowd. The PGA of America said they would apologise. Did you get the?
Yeah, I got a lovely email from Derek Sprague apologising, and Erica worked with Derek at the PGA of America back in the day, so we know Derek and his wife pretty well. So yeah, he couldn't have been more gracious or apologetic, and he wrote us a lovely letter, which we really appreciated.
That was Rory McIlroy talking to Ian Carter. Now, Chelsea came from behind to draw 2-2 with Karabag in Baku earlier. Esteval had given the away side the lead. Then Karabag fought back. They led at half-time. And Alejandro Garnacho, one of 3 half-time subs made by Enzo Maresca, equalised just after the break. Maresca had made 7 changes to the starting lineup that won at Tottenham on Saturday. He was asked about how much he's rotating his squad.
The intention tonight was to rest Enzo, to rest Moy, to rest Malo, to rest more players, because they are not able to play every 3 days. They didn't recover from last season. As you said, the Club World Cup affects a lot, and we try to rotate when you win. No one mentioned about that. I know that when we don't win, everyone is focused on that. But now I think it's important to recover energy for Saturday and go again.
Are you hoping for more from the players that are stepping in when you are rotating? I think, not to single him out, but Jarell Hatter had a difficult night tonight.
But it's not about, I think it's about all of them. Again, I think we start in the right way. We were in control of the game. We scored the goal. And then when we conceded the first goal, after 4 or 5 minutes, I don't remember, we conceded the second one. So it became every time more difficult. Second half, I think we were much better compared to the first half. But again, every game, I think it's a chance for all of them to show the reason why they are here.
More on that game in a second, but there's been a goal at QPR. Aaron Paul.
And against the run of play, Southampton have the lead. Well robbed. They've robbed possession well into the QPR half. And it's little Jay Robinson who's just jinked in behind the defence and fired a shot past the goalkeeper. It's taken a wicked deflection, looped up and over Paul Nardi and into the back of the net. And Southampton, with that awful run of 4 wins in 51 league games, are 1-0 up away at QPR.
Aaron, thank you very much. For more now on that game between Karabag and Chelsea, that 2-2 draw, our football news reporter Nizar Kinsella joins us from Baku. Nizar, there was a lot of inexperience in that Chelsea lineup, and Enzo Maresca was asked about his team selection. Was there a balance between experience or lack of and quality, which they do have?
Yeah, I think so. I think Chelsea had the second youngest lineup ever picked by an English team in an away Champions League match, so that gives you a sort of question of how young they are. And yeah, there was 7 changes from the 1-0 win of Tottenham on Saturday, where they were excellent, Chelsea. And yeah, today it was a big dip, but it's a different team, isn't it? And 7 changes is a lot. So yeah, I think that most of the players that were rotated in didn't play very well, to be honest. And you heard Joral Hato there in the clip you played. He was especially sort of had a bad evening. And Estevan Willian, though, who scored, he was the one probably who made things happen, the young teenager who has been sensational since he joined Chelsea from Brazil. So yeah, it was a mixed bag, really. And yeah, I thought some struggled out there.
Yeah, Joral Hato, as you mentioned, in particular, was the one that was mentioned to Enzo Maresca. Gave away the penalty, but looked shaky across, especially in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, he did. He also got overpowered as well by their striker, Duran, and that sort of led to the first goal. He hit the post, and then Andrade scored. So yeah, it just sort of rocked Chelsea. Sort of lost their momentum, and he was playing at centre back. He's quite small, 6 foot tall for a centre back that small. Anyway, taller than me, and yeah, he sort of got manhandled a little bit out there. So yeah, there was some concerns, and he is only 19. I'm sure he'll get better. So I don't want to be too critical, but some of them struggled out there.
But the Karabag story continues. Nizar, thank you very much for joining us. A 2-2 draw then for Chelsea earlier in Azerbaijan. They drew 2-2 with Karabag in Baku. Newcastle about to get underway in the second half against Athletic Bilbao. They have a 1-0 lead. Manchester City 2-up at home to Dortmund. With you for that one, Michael Brown and John Murray.
Yes, thank you, Kelly. Welcome back inside the Etihad Stadium. Yes, Manchester City halfway to making it 3 wins out of 4 in the Champions League this season, winning 2-0. As the second half gets underway, Manchester City kicking off. Foden and Haaland, the first half goal scorers, within 7 minutes of one another. And no changes at half-time, so Manchester City with Donnarumma in goal, away over to our right, in front of all of those vibrant yellow and black Borussia Dortmund supporters. The ball's just played back to Donnarumma now, who clears long. So Donnarumma, Mateus Nunes, Stones, Gvardiol and O'Reilly. City pouring forward with Reinders just down in front of us, then cutting infield. Reinders still going, could have scored at least twice in the first half, gives it to Savinho. His shot, saved by Kobel, pushes it across the 6-yard box. Did well actually to get something on that. It's out to Doku. Doku in the full-back position, takes on Ryerson to the byline, left-footed, crossed back to the edge of the penalty area where it's headed away by Bayer. And actually Dortmund will break away. Frustration there for Pep Guardiola down on the touchline, but he didn't have too much support. He had to cut back Bayer and then gives it to Mecha, and now forward to Bayer again, and Bayer into the box, although Mateus Nunes has gone with him. There is support there from the left back, from Svensson. Svensson now takes it on, his ball across, that's headed away, then Mecha with a shot, but he rather slashed at it with his right foot on the edge of the area against his former club, and it was well wide of the goal and behind, and it remains 2-0. Michael Brown.
Yeah, it's a decent enough strike. obviously on the counter-attack, but it was City who started well, really direct into Haaland. He just held off the defender, nodded it down. That run from Reinders, we know how good he is at that, and it just didn't open. He kept going towards the penalty area, tried to find an angle, tried to look for Haaland, and that was out to Savinho. Good play, just a little jink onto his right foot, drilled across, good save, and then the counter from Dortmund.
Bensebaini wins it back, plays it to Guirassy, but he couldn't get the ball under control on the edge of his own area, so Manchester City have got it back. Yes, the Manchester City team to continue. Nico Gonzalez in the central midfield position, and then Foden and Reinders with him, further ahead of him. Savinho on the right, who's been very bright. Doku on the left, he set up the goal for Haaland. And the captain tonight, if you weren't listening earlier, Erling Haaland named as the captain of Manchester City against his former club, and he has indeed scored against them, as he has done previously in 2022 in a group match. Do you remember? That was that martial arts style goal that he leapt high, sort of a kung fu kick that he scored with. But here now it is Mateus Nunes bursting forward from right back, but Borussia Dortmund players converged on him, and in the end he overran it, fell over, and Borussia Dortmund have the ball back. They have Kobel in goal, who's made a number of decent saves. Anton Schlotterbeck, the captain, and Bensebaini. There's no Julian Brandt, by the way. He didn't make the journey. One of their most experienced players stayed at home with a muscle injury. So Ryerson, the right wing back, Svensson, the left wing back, Metcher and Sabitzer in the middle, then Adeyemi and Bayer wide of top scorer Guirassy. And it is Sabitzer who's crossing deep towards the back post. It's headed back across the penalty area. Svensson's after it, but actually that was well defended by Reinders, and Manchester City are able to win it back. So still 2-0 to Manchester City here, but at St James's Park with you, Ailey Barber.
It is now 2-0 to Newcastle. Joe Linton missed a huge chance in the first half, but he has doubled Newcastle's lead right at the start of the second. A little cross dinked in by Harvey Barnes, and there was Joe Linton to just flick the header past Unai Simon to make it Newcastle 2, Athletic Bilbao 0.
So 2-0 to Newcastle now, so a clear advantage against Athletic Bilbao. I can tell you Preston are winning 2-0 against Swansea, as Majic has scored the second goal there, so that could be Preston heading back up to 4th place in the table. And to Hillsborough, Tom Gale,
where the visitors are level. Wednesday 1, Norwich 1. Devastating counter, started with a goalkeeper, lovely through ball to Josh Sargent, who unselfishly squared it to Kavista in, the substitute, who had to simply tap in from 4 yards out. Wednesday 1, Norwich 1. We played an hour.
And the other championship matches, still QPR 0, Southampton 1 and Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0. 2-0 to Manchester City here. Well played, Doku away from Ryerson into the penalty area. There is a cover there from Adeyemi, back to the edge of the box. Gvardiol puts his foot on it, crosses it into the edge of the penalty area where it was headed away. Haaland lumbers over there to collect possession again for Manchester City. The backdrop here, it's all Borussia Dortmund. I mean, they've been fantastic throughout the course of the match. Travelling German football supporters have a reputation for it, and they've been a credit to the club tonight as they continue to wave their yellow and black scarves in the 3 tiers of the stand behind Donnarumma's goal. Manchester City in the sky blue shirts with the white diagonal across the front, white shorts, blue socks. Here is Savinho, and the Brazilian trips his way infield, but then is dispossessed, and Bensebaini's pass is kept in play but just gives possession back to Manchester City. Michael Brown.
Yeah, they're just a bit wasteful, aren't they? You can't do that with City. So you're just looking to try and find a little bit of an angle, a little bit of tempo as the substitutes has come out for Manchester City. They've got some good options on the bench. It's now John Stones comfortable, just playing into that middle area. It's gone a little bit slower for City.
Yes, Manchester City making 3 changes tonight, and as Pep Guardiola was saying yesterday, City played on Sunday whereas Dortmund played on Friday night, and of course Manchester City play Liverpool here on Sunday. You'll hear that on 5 Live with us. Manchester City, with this win, would go, Michael, up to 4th place in the 36-team league phase table. Newcastle, incidentally, would be 6th. So you'd have Arsenal 2nd, Manchester City 4th, Newcastle 6th, and Liverpool 8th. Here is Mateus Nunes down the right-hand side, showing a burst of pace there, taking it on and winning a corner. First corner of the second half.
Yeah, there's been some good runs straight away, powerful ones from midfield areas. Whether it be a centre-back, whether it be a midfield player, full-backs, etc. We've seen Nico O'Reilly do it so many times in that first half, and now an opportunity. All those yellow shirts right in front of that 6-yard area. The City go to the edge, or will they put it right on the goalkeeper?
Yes, if City are able to get the third goal, you'd think that would be enough. And it swung to the near post, but it's headed up and over the top by Nico O'Reilly, who was near the front post on the edge of the 6-yard box, tried to glance it on, but really Michael just helped it up and wide of the near post behind for a goal kick.
He's involved now, isn't he? Do you know, like, is he getting more trust? Is he getting more, like, much better positionally? The referee just sort of stops that ball there when it's just a little bit of a counter-attack. But what I'm saying is he's growing in confidence. As soon as he got that England call up, I felt like he grew again. He's thinking that this is home for him, whether it's in the left-back position, whether it's in midfield. The areas he's getting, he could also be an attacking midfielder at any point for Pep Guardiola.
Yes, he was called into the England squad when Reece James withdrew last month. Didn't get onto the field, so he was an unused substitute for both of the matches. But this season, this is his 10th start. Came on as a substitute in 3 of them. Nico O'Reilly, and of course he's adaptable, which is always a great thing in international football.
Well, Aït-Nouri as well started, didn't it? So it didn't look like he was going to get so many minutes, but then he's took his chance.
He has. As Dortmund break forward, Adeyemi, but well defended by the diving Gvardiol. But he got there, that was the important thing, got good contact on it with his head back to Donnarumma.
He's gone under the radar, for me, Josko Gvardiol. I think it's centre-back, he's been cultured, he understands, he sees positionally where he's got to be, he's not afraid to tackle, he can get forward and score a goal in those left-back areas, and I think he's turned into a really good player.
Yes, I saw a Manchester City fan on the concourse wearing a Croatia shirt, which I guessed was a little nod to Gvardiol. Manchester City come forward again on the right-hand side. Savinho, then Foden, who opened the scoring for Manchester City tonight. Phil Foden. And has played well. Foden again to the edge of the box. There is a Dortmund player down, and eventually referee Marciniak does actually stop the play. I don't think it's a headed. Well, it's not. It's grabbing his ankle.
He got caught as there was a little slide tackle as Savinho tried to push it and keep it in play. The referee said, get yourself up. Because he stayed there, I think the ball went to circulate a few times, and the City players sort of gone, we can't really go forward because he's laying right in front of the penalty box. At that point, the referee decided, right, we might as well stop it.
Well, he stopped play. Bayer it was who was feeling his ankle, has got straight up, and the referee's restarted play with a drop ball. Odd one. Here's Haaland. Haaland turns it on now to O'Reilly. Haaland gets there first. Doku. Haaland with a shot left foot, but it's straight at Kobel, who just spread his feet and sort of killed the ball with his palms in between his legs.
You're expecting a huge amount of power. Savinho is obviously just having a look at that, where it is a little bit of a late challenge, but down that left-hand side, Doku involved. A little flick, wasn't it, give and go from Haaland with Nico O'Reilly again, but as it falls into Haaland's path, I'm thinking, here you go, that powerful strike, and it just wasn't really there. It sort of lacked that sort of intent that he normally has.
Yeah, Haaland, even though maybe it was Doku, Haaland was not going to give that up and just stepped in front of him and hit the shot.
Excuse me, Jeremy, I'm just going to knock this one in.
Yeah, but it was saved. Incidentally, just to correct what I said in the first half, it's 142 goals now for Haaland for Manchester City. It's his 160th appearance, so 142 goals in 160 appearances for Manchester City. Here's a long one downfield. This is for Haaland to chase, and he's certainly chasing it against Bensebaini, who was the only Dortmund defender who knew that Haaland was coming. You could hardly miss him, could you? Thundering behind you, but he did well. And then I thought he might have been fouled over there, but referee Marciniak says not, and so Manchester City won it back with Reinders. And here is Haaland again, trying to work a position near the edge of the D. Doku has come short, actually, and so it's all got a bit congested centrally. Gonzalez gives it back to Reinders. Now Foden finds a position and scores! That's super! From Phil Foden, left foot, flash past Kobel. That is 3-0. and that has to be this Champions League match won for Manchester City. 2 goals for Foden, Manchester City 3, Borussia Dortmund 0.
And that's got to be an England call-up as well, with that quality and those tight areas. It's ridiculous feat. I'm thinking he's got nowhere to go. He's owned a little bit of challenges. He sees it, he just makes a little yard, and then it's the next touch that gives him the next bit of an angle, as he just does the same finish as he did in the first half. He just curls it right to the far corner. Off he celebrates yet again with the substitutes, but it's real quality in tight areas. He's on fire, he's doing things positive yet again with that quality. No wonder Pep Guardiola's got a smile on his face.
Super finish. Well, I said it in the first half. The goal that he scored to make it 1-0, that very much looked like Phil Foden at his best. But I think you can make that times 2. We've seen the sniper celebration as well from him as well. Going down, it's good to see that again for him.
They just might be, they're asking for a foul, aren't they? Savinho, we've just seen on that left-hand side.
Yeah, Benzabini, yeah.
And that's what they wanted. They felt there was contact. Do you say it's good play from Savinho, or is it a foul? I know what the away side will be asking.
Yeah, well, they've had a look at it and they've quickly dismissed it. But I mean, the footwork there from Foden when he received it on the edge of the area was lightning quick. Danced past Anton, and then from the edge of the area.
Underneath him as well, John. Do you know, to be able to dig it out and put it into that position? First touch was good, second one gave him the room, and the third was brilliant.
So Manchester City 3, Borussia Dortmund 0. And is this the time now when Pep Guardiola begins to think about what he's going to do as regards Liverpool on Sunday?
He's already thinking about that. He already knows, he can see, but he has to make decisions. Things change in games, and that's where you've got to be able to adapt. You have 3 or 4 different options, different plans, and yeah, he would love to rest a couple, but he's very much aware of the dangers that this side can really get after you. He won't want an ending where he's a nail-biting one.
That's Michael Brown, former Manchester City midfielder. Just over half an hour to play. Manchester City, it would seem, on the way to victory, winning 3-0. Newcastle are 2-0 up. Let's go to QPR, Aaron Paul.
And so are Southampton. QPR 0, Saints 2. What a goal this is from Leo Cienza, picking the ball up left side of the halfway line, John. He just edged his way towards goal, 30 yards out, opens his body up, fires a shot towards goal, dips beautifully into the far corner past the goalkeeper. Nothing he can do about it. Stunning strike from Leo Cienza, and what a big goal it could be for Southampton. QPR 0, Saints 2.
Yes, Southampton under the interim management of Tonda Eckert after the departure of Will Still. And Southampton, who've had 1 win in their last 12 in the league. Manchester City are looking for a 4th here, and it's taken forward by Savinho, who tries a shot, but it was a packed penalty area and the ball is blocked, but actually still in play over there on the far side. And Phil Foden, who's on a hat-trick now. You said it, Michael, it's going to be the debate after this match, isn't it? I mean, it was Jude Bellingham last night in terms of, and over the course of the last week, when Bellingham's form has returned with the goals and that he scored and created for Real Madrid. But of course it is a winning England team now, and Thomas Tuchel last month, as Doku is fouled by Ryerson near the halfway line, so it's a free kick to Manchester City. Thomas Tuchel's message last month was continuity to continue with what they've built. So we'll find out on Friday.
Yeah, we've got to look at the opposition as well. Continuity important, but you've got to say, well, also our quality players, how can we shoehorn them in? It's a very difficult job. We get that and understand why.
I think, Michael, he might be back in the squad, Bellingham, and indeed Foden. They might be back in the squad, but it may well be that as long as Anderson and Rice and Rodgers are fit, I think my expectation would be that those 3 will start against Serbia.
Well, they get another go at it. That's fine if that's what the manager wants to do, but how can you keep the 2 of them out of the squad? I think that's the point.
Yeah. Find out Friday morning, 10 o'clock. Here's Doku playing it in. Flick from Foden. Haaland. Back now. Foden again. Clips it across to the back post. And then Savinho went for the volley, sort of hip high, but slashed it across goal and wide. And it remains just 3-0.
What I really liked about that is Phil Foden in the position. He talked about a hat-trick. He could have just whizzed it at the goal from a tight corner angle. He just literally stands it up like a sand wedge to the back post. I'm awaiting as it's just dropping down. Savinho with that side-winding volley. He's got to hit the target over the bar. Poor execution.
Kairat have equalised in the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium. San Siro, Inter 1, Kairat 1, who were the rank outsiders of the 36 coming into. If they finish above 36, that is a great effort from Kairat. And Club Brugge 2, Barcelona 2, I think it is. I'll bring you the goal scorer. Yeah, I'll bring you the news of the goal scorer when we have it. It's Lamine Yamal who scored. Here's Guirassy for Borussia Dortmund. He's allowed to carry the ball to the edge of the box, and then Svensson just hammers it across goal. No one in the middle had a chance with that. It is a goal kick. I think it was initially perhaps given as a corner, but has been given as a goal kick. Right, Borussia Dortmund are going to make 3 changes, 3-0 down, and Job Bellingham is going to be one of them. Emre Can as well, the experienced former Liverpool and Juventus midfielder, Bayern Munich as well. That's where he started, wasn't it? He's coming onto the field, as is Pascal Gross, former Brighton midfielder. And it is going to be a quadruple change, and I think that is Chukwuemeka who's coming on as well, Carney Chukwuemeka. So a quadruple change coming for Borussia Dortmund once the ball goes out of play next. But Manchester City leading 3-0, 2 goals for Foden and 1 for Haaland, and it is back to QPR. Aaron Paul.
This one not done yet. QPR 1, Southampton 2. Who else? Romain Barrel, 5th goal of the season, intercepting a long ball forward. Goalkeeper Bazuna should have done much better, but QPR have something to build on here. 15 to go. QPR 1, Southampton 2.
Galatasaray have taken the lead against Ajax, who are really struggling. In fact, Ajax were bottom of the table coming into these matches, and they're losing to Galatasaray. Here's Guirassy taking it on. Left foot shot's deflected, but that took it up and over the angle of post and bar. I think Donnarumma would have been beaten by that, you know, but the deflection has taken it over the top.
Yeah, I think there might be a good challenge in the line of that there. Whether it be John Stones just getting in the front of it, getting a little bit of a block on it. But yeah, drifted wide, good position. Guirassy just letting the ball go across him. Lots of activity down below us, and now just waiting for that set piece. City, important, as we mentioned, not to give them any sort of leg up. They want to control the rest of this game.
Borussia Dortmund's first corner this. They're not going to make these changes yet. They've got a corner. Club Brugge are back in front. They've taken the lead for the 3rd time against Barcelona. So 3-2. Here is the Dortmund corner, which is dropped into the 6-yard box and headed away to comparative safety. Comes back in, but Donnarumma comes and makes the comfortable catch. So with Barcelona losing, Michael, where are they now in the table? Barcelona, they're down in 15th in the table. So they, incidentally, will play Chelsea next. So it is Chelsea at home to Barcelona in the next round of matches. That will be one of our 5 live commentaries. Here's Guirassy though for Dortmund. From the angle, shoots Donnarumma. Good save, threw up an arm. It was from a tight angle, but that was a fine save to push it up and over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, good save. Just in comfortable possession. They just get a little bit sloppy. Not as tight as you expected, and you can't give them any sort of opportunities, as we've talked about. But goalkeeper coming across, good strong hand. John Stones gets over. Say well done. Doku has to do better.
Corner to Dortmund, still waiting to make these changes, but they've suddenly come to life in the second half with those chances. The blocked shot and then that save from Donnarumma from Guirassy. This corner again into the 6-yard box. Donnarumma comes, gets a punch on it. Schlotterbeck misses his kick, but then is able to recover. Benfica 0, Bayer Leverkusen 1. Manchester City's next match in the Champions League will be at home to Leverkusen. So Jose Mourinho's Benfica are in trouble as well, 2nd bottom of the table, and 1-0 down to Leverkusen. Right, here we go with 4 changes, and Bensebaini is coming off, so is Bayer. Sabitzer has made way, And who's the fourth one? We've got 3 players off the field so far. Okay. Someone left the field on the far side. It's Girassi, who is the fourth one, who's coming off. And so a quadruple change. All players who have been based in England previously coming onto the field. And Job Bellingham playing here for Borussia Dortmund against Manchester City, just like his brother Jude did in his Borussia Dortmund days. And actually, in that match when Haaland scored the late winner, the martial arts style kick, Jude Bellingham scored the opening goal in that match. So 3-0 down though. You would think, still quarter of the match to play, that it would all be too late. Preston now 2-1 up on Swansea. A goal back for Swansea from Eom, and Preston 2, Swansea 1, the latest score. Still Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0. And Borussia Dortmund in possession with the ball over there on the left-hand side. Here is Job Bellingham, promoted to the Premier League at Wembley with Sunderland last season, but then moving just like his brother did to Dortmund. He has Adeyemi on the edge of the area. He shoots low but pulls it just wide of the post. Well, they've created a string of chances now, and predictably Pep Guardiola in that grey suit comes marching forward to the edge of the area. He is not happy at the way that his team have lost the grip here.
Well, it's just a different person. Adeyemi's come inside. I think that's the problem, so they couldn't find who's to get close to him. He turns quickly. He's an extra pass in the middle of the pitch for them, allowed him to get that strike away, just wide.
Yes, Pascal Gross has sort of taken up the position on the right-hand side as Manchester City win a free kick on the halfway line. Pascal Gross, he loved a goal in Manchester, didn't he? Over at United. That was one of his specialities, goals against Manchester United in his time at Brighton. It's a free kick to Manchester City, and Erling Haaland, as the captain, is talking to referee Marciniak while they get themselves sorted out. What's happening at St James's Park? Ailey Barber.
Newcastle still leading by 2-0, and that second goal from Joe Linton has kind of killed this game off as a contest, really. Athletic Bilbao, they've done well off the ball, they've created problems for Newcastle, but they've never really looked like scoring. Newcastle just trying to see this one out now, conserve a bit of energy, because they've got a busy schedule ahead. It's Newcastle 2, Athletic Bilbao 0.
Inter are back in front against Kairat. It's Inter 2, Kairat 1. So Kairat weren't level for long. Couldn't have been any more than maybe 5 minutes or so. Manchester City 3-0 up earlier. Karabag 2, Chelsea 2, as Foden looking for that hat-trick, carries the ball to the edge of the area under pressure. Gets a firm challenge there from Mecha, and actually the referee Marciniak, I think probably rightly calls that as a foul.
He's hurt himself there, you know. He didn't like that, felt uncomfortable.
Went down awkwardly. He was shoved over by the shoulder of Mecha.
Mecha was getting tight, wasn't he? I think it's just maybe a little bit one where he's just got close to him as he just took his touch, and that left ankle just dipped. Good opportunity now, wide free kick on the angle of the penalty area. Reinders is saying, I'll have a look at it. Can he shoot from there? It's going to have to be special. Galatasaray now winning 2-0 away against Ajax. An Osimhen penalty. And Atalanta winning 1-0 in Marseille. Ademola Lookman, the goal scorer. Free kick for Manchester City, 3-0 up. Here's Reinders to take it, curls it in. Haaland was after it, couldn't get a touch, and Koble pushed it away, but the referee spotted an infringement, and it's a free kick to Dortmund, Michael, with 20 minutes to play here. Yeah, he doesn't go for goal. It's that in-swinging free kick to that far post. Koble just as well, that left hand, referee spots a foul, a little bit of contact, not too much. But now, what can they bring? Can Borussia Dortmund change? How can they go forward? That front three now have advanced into areas trying to push City's back four.
It's back to 0-0. Marseille, Atalanta. The Lookman goal was ruled out by VAR. 5 Live Sport on the air till 10:30 tonight, when Tony Livesey will be taking over. And Tim Krul is going to join us for the last half hour of the programme after 10 o'clock this evening, when we will round everything up and hear more about Chelsea's 2-2 draw. It's free kick to Dortmund, 10 yards inside the Manchester City half. They've got some tricky matches, you know. Chelsea left home to Barcelona, away to Atalanta, and then at home to Paphos, who tonight, earlier, won 1-0 against Villarreal. And Chelsea, although in saying that, they are in 11th place in the table. I wonder whether the 6 English clubs could end up finishing in the top 8. I wonder whether they could all qualify automatically for the round of 16. Ryerson plays it across into the middle and it's tapped away, and Dortmund have a goal. Well, they've been threatening it over the course of the last 10 minutes or so, and that was beautifully tucked away by the central defender, Valdemar Anton. 3-1 Manchester City.
Right, just looking at it, it's a quick free kick, but City are sleeping. Jeremy Doku is saying he's standing in front of the ball, but there's one overlap down that right-hand side. Ryerson, and he doesn't go stand with him. Pep's going mad and saying, what do I do? I'm going inside, I've got the outside one. Pep's saying, it's you who should see that danger first. The ball's fizzed right across the front post. There's got to be a defender there, and this is what exactly now, those supporters right behind. Good finish near post, and how things change quickly.
Well, Anton took that away like Erling Haaland.
That's easy one, wasn't it? Right in front of the goal. Right.
Beautifully set up by Ryerson as well. Whipped it across low, and the German international central defender past Donnarumma in a flash. So Manchester City 3, Borussia Dortmund 1. So no clean sheet tonight for Manchester City. But I think Pep Guardiola will be concerned, because since City went 3-0 up, Dortmund, also having made those 4 changes, they've been transformed. And here they come again with Svensson down the left-hand side, and Svensson wins a corner for Dortmund from the left.
Yeah, it's changed. They've got a bit of belief. The intensity's gone up, taking risks, running behind, and now City tentative. Got to defend this now. They've got to have leaders quickly.
Right-footed corner. Dortmund fans make the noise again. Scarves being twirled above heads. In it comes, but I think the whistle is gone. Even though it was headed up in the air, the referee has given a free kick to Manchester City in their own 6-yard area. Donnarumma just gives him a pat on the back, and Adeyemi tries to be helpful by throwing the ball back to Donnarumma, and he leaves it and advances into the back of the net. And now Pep Guardiola is going to make a couple of changes. Cherki's going to come on, and Bernardo Silva as well, it looks like.
Yeah, straight away he just called him in from the left-hand side, warming up, wants a reaction. I think what we do know about Bernardo is that leader. He knows where to drop in, he's cute, he knows where to keep hold of the ball in key areas, he's infectious, got great energy. And Cherki's got quality to unlock things if the space starts to increase. If they leave him unattended, you know what he can do.
5 Live from the BBC. Listen to 5 Live if you're on the move via the BBC Sounds app. You can pause, rewind, listen to the live radio over again. And Football Daily, search Football Daily, and all the reaction will be on there in the morning. Here's Adeyemi down the left-hand side now. Clips the ball all the way across, and Ryerson was underneath that. The defender was there as well, and just did enough. It was actually Phil Foden back in there who was blocking his progress, and he went for the volley, a high volley, and just hit it over into the Manchester City fans, and the ball's still bobbing around amongst them. Manchester City 3-1 up. Newcastle still 2-0 up against Athletic Bilbao.
This is interesting here. So if they're going to play short, they're going to wait for the press. Pep said no, stop, we're under pressure, we've got to wait. I want you to go direct into Haaland, keep it away from the goal, let's try and get set, let's have a little reset, I'm going to make some substitutions. This is Pep. Do you know, like, when would he have ever done that at this stage of the game? But he said, right, take the ball again, we keep it, we wait. He said, no, not this time.
Interesting, isn't it? As Reinders takes it forward, passes it, looking for Haaland, but that was intercepted by Emre Can, who's taken the captain's armband as well. It's his first appearance of the season, Emre Can. He's had a groin injury, came back, was an unused substitute at Augsburg on Friday night, but lots of experience. Champions League finalist, as you will remember, with Liverpool, I'm sure, as the ball comes back for Dortmund. And here is Bellingham, Job Bellingham, carries the ball 5-6 yards, but then checks back, gives it back. Chan behind him, now out to the right-hand side, and Ryerson will move in field. Ryerson, who's already set up one goal, then it's angled all the way back. Adeyemi with a shot, deflected, and then scraped away inside the 6-yard box. over towards the far side, and so very nearly a second goal for Dortmund.
Great play. John Stones just gets into the key area as it just pulled back from a wide position. They're asking for a handball, they're asking for everything. John Stones throws his body, really, really good defending. That experience was key there. The ball's just gone out of play for a corner. Now it's going to come right on top of the City defence again.
Yeah, it was scraped away by, I think, Mateus Nunez down on the dead ball line, but it was already behind the line. So it is a corner to Borussia Dortmund. And Manchester City have been unsettled here in the last half hour of this match. Deep one, Gross heads it back across, pushed away by Donnarumma. Another one on target for Borussia Dortmund. Doku will get a little touch and take it towards the halfway line, but Chan was able to come across, keep possession again for Borussia Dortmund. Pascal Gross now with the cross, but Gvardiol stretches out his leg and deflects it out of play. Well, Borussia Dortmund, remember, have lost only once this season. It's a proud record. Lost only narrowly to Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. And they are fighting for their lives here. 3-1 down. Adeyemi turning on the edge of the box. Donnarumma comes. It's cleared away though. And this is sort of almost desperate defending by Manchester City.
Adeyemi really good, getting into positions, really good technically. But they've just got a little change of shape. They've just took the centre back out. They've gone for it, haven't they? They said, you know what, we don't mind getting forward. We'll push it into positions and cause City problems. They're pushing them right back. Diaz as well. That tells you where Pep's at.
Yeah, it does. He would have probably liked to keep him for Sunday against Liverpool, but the state of play here, he's going to make a triple change. So Doku is coming off. He's the first number that goes up, the red number 11, and then Savinho, who, well, how do you think he's done, Savinho, tonight?
He's done really well, to be honest. He's got into good areas, but who's he going to sacrifice when the game's going end to end? He wants more runners, more control. The wide players, Doku, who he felt was to blame for that goal there, that he didn't do his job, and Savinho from the other side is probably the one that you look, and then you get the extra one, don't you? And Ruben Diaz putting himself back into the centre of the defence.
Yeah, so Bernardo Silva is on for what is his 100th Champions League appearance. That's quite an achievement. He's just the 52nd man to do that. And that's, you know, after a considerable wait of Champions League matches over the years, and he's the fourth Portuguese player. Ruben Diaz is still waiting to come onto the field. The board has still not gone up, and it is Reinders who's going to walk off the field, even though I don't think the board ever went up with the numbers.
Well, he didn't. You know, Diaz is just going to slot inside of John Stones, Josko Gvardiol. Tell gone into a back three to change things so early, to try and hold out.
Barcelona have equalised for a third time against Club Brugge. It's 3-3 in what might be the match of the night. An own goal at Solis, own goal. So Club Brugge 3, Barcelona 3. Borussia Dortmund continue to attack as Fabio Silva is being brought forward. So another former Premier League player, the former Wolves man, is going to come on next for Borussia Dortmund. But those changes with Ruben Diaz coming on and Reinders off, so that's quite a bit of a rejig, isn't it, Michael?
But it's into a proper back five. No, it's not even a back three at this moment in time. The pin back sitting in as a five. Bernardo Silva's just got in the middle of the pitch, and Phil Foden's the one jumping out on the right hand side, and Cherki on that left hand side.
Haaland chases the ball downfield, but Borussia Dortmund, who have improved dramatically from the point when they were 3-0 down. I'm remembering actually their topsy-turvy match. Do you know, I think it was the first match night. Well, it was against Juventus when it was 4-4. Ball's been played across the edge of the area. Chukwuemeka almost got there, and Donnarumma had to be sharp, but he was putting in a tackle on the edge of the penalty area, the Manchester City goalkeeper, to take it away from Chukwuemeka.
Two tackles, he slid right the way across. It was a poor ball initially from Cherki.
And now City down the other end with Foden. Foden now in for Rowe. He couldn't get the ball across. Bernardo Silva racing onto it. Defender put the tackle in, and in the end it bounced off him and through for a goal kick. So it's still 3-1. Newcastle still leading 2-0 at St James's Park. And Adeyemi is the next player substituted off, with Fabio Silva coming on to play, it would appear, through the middle. Former Wolves man who was signed for somewhere in the region of £22-23 million from Wolves this summer. and the ball is deflected back into the penalty area for Donnarumma to pick up. We're into the last 10 minutes, Michael. It's held the interest, hasn't it?
He was unlucky to be took off, wasn't he? Had he done well. But just going back to it, is that Cherky back pass which got them in trouble. Then it almost fell down that left-hand side. Donnarumma just slides, makes his body really, really big. It was a strange one, wasn't it? Like a last-ditch tackle. And he wins it, blocks it, then does it a second time, not as big. Crowd went mental.
Dortmund, here's Svensson again. Svensson, then Chukwuemeka takes it with the ball at his feet, turns, faces the penalty area. Svensson, the Swedish international left back, ball swept all the way across the field to the Norwegian right wing back, Ryerson, his cross. Donnarumma didn't make it. And in the middle, Fabio Silva got his head to it. The whistle has gone.
How lucky was he there?
Donnarumma,
he flies out. Essentially, it's that loop ball in from the right-hand side. He goes to punch it, misses it completely. So the first couple he gets right, then he just misses that one. We haven't really seen that where he's not really being assertive and not got the ball, but it's gone so open now.
This is reminding me a little of the Premier League match that we covered a couple of weeks ago, Manchester United against Brighton, when Manchester United were 3-up in that match, and you thought, well, if Manchester United, if it finished now, you think what a good performance that was, set them up, mood continues. Similarly with Manchester City, at 3-0 up, they were looking in really good shape for the Liverpool match, and now they've really been rattled by Borussia Dortmund, and if they're able to get another goal, Borussia Dortmund, you know,
it just shows you though the detail of set pieces. Do you know when you also look as well? It's a setup. They've given an opportunity. They know they're going to go big. They've just left that left-hand side of the defensive City, and they've made a quick free kick, whizzed the ball in, and now they give them hope.
7 minutes to go. Borussia Dortmund continue to have more of the ball and continue to attack towards their vibrant yellow and black clad supporters. Bellingham is challenged by Manchester City's Bernardo Silva. Back it goes to the halfway line.
If you're just looking, we talk about position. So Nunez, as he played as a right wing back, Nico O'Reilly as a left wing back. It's a difficult skill, it's a difficult position to play. That's where they've got to get inside now, Borussia Dortmund. They can just catch them at an overload. You can see Gross just going inside, Nico O'Reilly. They're trying to just catch him, trying a little bit of build-up. Can they do it?
Long pass hit forward from the back, and Ryerson challenged by O'Reilly. The ball deflects out of play for a throw-in that Ryerson takes to Anton, the Dortmund goal scorer. They work it all the way over to the left-hand side to Chukwuemeka, who cuts in field, still going Chukwuemeka, and then his ball all the way across here to the right-hand side. Ryerson then delivers it to the back post, only half headed away by Diaz, and then bounces down, and it should be cleared by Mateus Nunez. It isn't. It deflects back into the penalty area, and Donnarumma will drop on the ball. And also Marmoush is going to be brought on by Manchester City.
Let's have a look. So it's what depends on what he does, doesn't he? Because you take off Erling Haaland, you lose aerial one with the balls coming in, set pieces, etc. But Marmoush can cover the ground. He can make obviously great runs and put pressure on.
But Manchester City break forward. Bernardo Silva. Dortmund are committing men downfield, but the pass forward was intercepted by Anton, or I think it was Schlotterbeck, who was then fouled by O'Reilly, and it is a free kick to Dortmund, and Erling Haaland is going to be the man who is substituted.
Well, that's the one. You can see Erling Haaland top of the pitch. Marmoush going to give you energy. He's going to run. He's going to harry. He's going to stop. And like I mentioned, Nouri as well. You know about that full-back position, that wing-back area. Someone who can be more of a specialist situation needed for this type of role now to see the game out.
Well, everyone's clapping. Borussia Dortmund fans as well. He scored against Dortmund again tonight. Scored in a 5th consecutive Champions League match. He's scored his 18th goal for City this season, his 27th for club and country in now 17 appearances. And now he is being kept with 5 minutes on the clock for Liverpool here on Sunday. 5 Live, the place to listen to that. And O'Reilly also being substituted for Manchester City. Who's the other player who's come on?
Nouri. Natural, isn't it? Left wing back, that's a perfect solution.
Yeah. Ryan Nouri. who's missed time this season with the ankle injury that he had. So Ait Nouri is on. Borussia Dortmund 3-1 down, but playing plenty of good football. Ryerson, who's caught the eye as well, passes it through, but even though Donnarumma came out, he was caught by Fabio Silva, and it's a free kick to Manchester City. So the full-time whistle's going in the 7:45 kickoffs. To QPR first, Aaron Paul.
QPR 1, Southampton 2. Life after Will still begins with a win for the Saints. They're first in the league since September. Jay Robinson broke the deadlock. Leo Cienza with an absolute stunner to make it 2. Roman Burrell pulled one back for the Rangers moments later, and the home side pushed and pushed, but a couple of really good Gavin Bazunu saves meant Southampton clutched onto the point. And how big could they be? QPR 1, Southampton 2.
Preston have beaten Swansea, so Preston are back up to 4th in the Championship. At Hillsborough, Tom Gale.
Full time, Wednesday 1, Norwich 1. Bannon's early rocket cancelled out by Norwich. Second half sub, Kvaratskhelia. Visitors end a run of 6 defeats. Wednesday still yet to win at home in the league this season. Both still very much in the relegation battle. Full time, Wednesday 1, Norwich 1.
And it is still Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0 in the 8 o'clock kickoff in the Championship. And Manchester City 3-1 up, but under some pressure for some period of time now, pretty much since they went 3-0 up. And City trying to work it away with Foden, but he couldn't keep the ball in play. It's a throw-in to Dortmund. Ajax 0, Galatasaray 3, and an Osimhen hat-trick. So Ajax will stay bottom of the table, 36th out of 36. Remember, you've got to finish above the bottom 12, so 24th or higher to progress beyond January in the Champions League and into either the knockout round or the round of 16. Top 8 goes straight through into the round of 16, and currently Arsenal are 2nd, Manchester City 4th, Newcastle 6th, and Liverpool 8th. As balls played forward by Anton, but that will just run through to Donnarumma, with Newcastle leading by 2-0. We do have commentary, by the way, tomorrow night from the Europa League and the Conference, but on Sports Extra it is from 5:45. Celtic match in Denmark against Midtjylland, and Rangers game against Ibrox against Roma from 8 o'clock. Sports Extra to listen to both of those, while Larnaca Aberdeen will be on Sports Extra 2. Dortmund, time running out. In fact, we are into the 90th minute. Been some anxious moments for Pep Guardiola and his team. Seats beginning to empty around the Etihad Stadium. Assumption being that Manchester City will see this out, which they should. But it is Dortmund with Emre Can. Square to Anton. And then a little ball towards the corner of the penalty area to Gross, but Manchester City are able to deal with that. The backheel flick actually takes it forward for Ait Nouri. Ryan Ait Nouri, who is then fouled as he broke away by Ryerson. It's a free kick to Manchester City.
Turkey, what a backheel. It's brilliant. Do you know what? But when he makes a mistake in that area by doing that, you can imagine what Pep's going to do. But we want to see entertainment, we want to see flair, and that was it.
Clips will be available, the goals, on the various BBC platforms at 10 o'clock from the week's Champions League football, so look out for that. Champions League match of the day on BBC One tonight. City continue to form forward. Bernardo Silva couldn't get the ball across, it was blocked by Can. Comes out to Ryerson, who is then fouled by Guardiola. A free kick to Manchester City halfway inside their own half. There will be 4 minutes of added time. Just looking underneath the front of the tier above, which is right over the tops of our heads. So we heard at half-time Ailey and Kelly talking about the fabulous Beaver Moon, as Cherki is able to take the ball on and shoot and score. Cherki was given far too much space and he took advantage of it, ran to the edge of the area, a firm right foot shot beyond the dive of Kobel, and Manchester City now have it won 4-1 against Borussia Dortmund.
If ever nobody's seen him, he's a special player, a special talent. I said who excites you, does different things into key positions. Yes, he can frustrate you, but he drives through the middle of the pitch. He keeps waiting, then he looks, and then at the end of it, the finish comes so clean into that far corner. Central, just on the edge of the 18-yard area, he just caresses it, right foot, far corner. Brilliant substitution from a brilliant player as well to execute the winner.
And there we have it. His first goal in the Champions League for Manchester City. Ryan Cherki, the French international. He scored on his Premier League debut against Wolves back in August. Scored in the Carabao Cup last week against Swansea. And now, lovely finish. Little deflection as he took it into the penalty area, but well hit nevertheless. And a Manchester City goal in the Champions League. And it's Manchester City 4, Borussia Dortmund 1.
Well, finally, that was the ending Pep wanted. Obviously, a lot later. The anticipation was that it would have been a comfortable second half, but full credit to Dortmund. They pushed to make the changes like they started that first half. But, you know, City, are they getting back to the best? It certainly seems that way. One lax in concentration cost them, didn't it? That cost them a little bit of a nice ending to the game. Pep had to change. He made the right substitutions, dropped into a back three. And finally now, that support behind the goal with all the scarves above the head has gone a little bit quieter.
Yeah, their first defeat in the Champions League this season. This is going to be for the former winners back in 1997 when Paul Lambert was in the Borussia Dortmund side. And I can tell you, Atalanta, it would appear, have now gone 1-0 up against Marseille. And in the match of the night, Club Brugge have just taken the lead for the 4th time against Barcelona and lead by 4-3. So you'll want to see that when the clips become available on the BBC after 10 o'clock, or indeed on Match of the Day tonight, when Ashley Cole will be among Gabby Logan's guests in the studio. And the 4th goal has been ruled out by VAR, and it's back to Club Brugge 3, Barcelona 3. And Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0 is a final score. So Portsmouth, one of your former clubs, who've lost their last 3, have got a draw against improving Wrexham.
VAR just ruined that there for you, didn't it? Set it up nicely, the excitement of a great ending. Yeah. Is there going to be another goal?
Well, it's not going to be a thrilling ending here, but it's been an interesting night, hasn't it, on Bonfire Night in the east of Manchester. After all of the smoke at the start of the match, smoke and lasers as opposed to smoke and mirrors, here is Manchester City with Bernardo Silva playing it back to Diaz, who's taken on the captaincy, and then a foul on the halfway line on goal scorer Cherki. So 2 goals for Foden, 1 for Haaland, and 1 late one for Cherki, and that is it. That has won the match. The 3rd win in a row for Manchester City in 3 different competitions. That's actually 6 wins in their last 7 matches as well for City, so that is some form to take into the match against Liverpool here on Sunday afternoon. The 4:30 kickoff, you'll hear that with us here, right here on 5 Live. And 3 wins out of 4 in the Champions League, and they are now moving up into the top 8, where you qualify straight for the round of 16. So that is halfway through the group stage, and so far so very good actually for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City in this competition.
Yeah, he sat right in a good position. Obviously he made those changes in the summer. He wanted a different style, a different change. Obviously they've played well at times, maybe still improvement to be had. He feels like the team are getting better and better. They were put under pressure early, but then they reacted. You've seen the skills of Doku, the finishing of Foden and Haaland was exceptional. They were put under pressure from a little bit of a lacklustre sort of start to the second half in areas, but they got what they needed, they made the changes, and that's a really successful start for this side now in the Champions League, unlike last season.
And Phil Foden will be the focus of attention, I think, after the match that he had, particularly in that first hour.
I think we've got to look as well, unselfish running off the ball, the way he got back into shape, understands different positions, unselfish, supply line, that little one where he could have got a hat-trick possibly, he dinks it to the back post, so he's seeing, he's aware, he's maturing. He's playing now with confidence and a style. He's got all the ability, and when he's in that area of that 10 position or inside midfield areas where he can do special things. Yes, he ended on the right, so we didn't see him so much, but he's in form now, and he's certainly given the England manager something to think about.
He certainly has. The England squad named on Friday. The Borussia Dortmund players walking across to their excellent supporters who are applauding back to them from the stands. It's their first defeat in the Champions League this season, only their second in all competitions. But yes, Phil Foden is very much receiving the slaps on the back. 2 goals for him tonight, so he's doubled his total for the season to 4 goals in all competitions. They wanted to spread the goals around. They have to Foden, and he likewise is applauding to the stands out there on the pitch. Erling Haaland with the other goal in the first half for Manchester City, and then Ryan Cherki late on in added time to make it. Final score: Manchester City 4, Borussia Dortmund 1.